Hello, hello,
Candy.
hello, hello.
Hello, Mr. Fernando.
Hi, and who are these lovely voices that I hear on this beautiful Why Wednesday?
It's Orly. Good morning.
Hey, what's
Good
happening?
morning, it's Viva.
We have Orly, and who else?
Viva, I'm back in town.
Hey, what is happening, everyone? I hope you're having a magical start to your day today. Magic is in the air. We are in the point of momentum, and I am always so excited to be able to continue my morning on these morning huddles. And I'm so grateful for all you early adopters. So I want to just get the blood flowing, get the conversations going. I jump in here every morning, set us in pace and to get us started. It's going to be 8:30 in 1 minute, so kindly begin to mute yourselves. Sean will be jumping on momentarily. Before, with 60 seconds that we have.
To be back.
Yes, thank you. Is there any new members, or is there anyone that has never spoken before that would like to say hello and share some thoughts? And if no one speaks, please, anyone, what are you present to on this Why Wednesday? Back to you. Go.
What do you mean present to?
Say again?
What do you mean by present to?
When I mean, and who am I speaking with?
Viva.
Hey, Fiba. I love that, ever since the master, you're here with us. And thank you for being extra communicative. When I say, what are you present to, meaning, where's your heart? What are you thinking about? What are you feeling? What is around you that you're considering? Like, what are you present to as you drive to work? What are you present to as you eat your breakfast? Our mind wanders and we begin to create. So when I ask, what are you present to? I'm asking, what's around you? What are you thinking of? And what are you feeling? But before you get into your answer, it is 8:30. Sean Callaghy, are you here with us? All right, so Liba, you want to give it a shot on what are you present to? Maybe you're present to like confusion. What is this guy Fernando saying?
Sure.
But if not, what are you present to?
So I'm actually driving back from Florida to New York since yesterday morning. And I'm currently in Maryland somewhere. And I'm just, holy cow. But we're actually just talking about the trees, how winter, I'm with my friend, and how the trees are still bare, but it's actually like really pretty. And sunrise and sunset is just, it's so cool, but I'm also, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, we lost you there for a second, and it sounds like you're probably on speaker, so I don't know if I'm the only one, but I can't really understand the words that you're saying. And I see that Sean just jumped in with us. Tiffany, is Sean here?
Cool.
Not yet. Give me 1 minute.
Awesome. No problem. So,
that's
Liba,
cool. Yeah, I'm on speaker because I'm driving. It's Bluetooth.
got it. Well, please drive safely, and let's flip it off to one more person. Would anyone like to share what they're present to on this Why Wednesday?
What's up,
Hey,
Fernando? It's Craig.
Hey, we got, go ahead. It was Craig and Kirk.
Yep.
Kirk, let's have you go, and then Craig,
Yes,
we'll
Kirk.
have you follow up right after. What's happening, Kirk? Kirk Adams,
Just very,
president of the American Foundation for the Blind. What is happening, brother?
well, just very briefly, had an opportunity to have some ecosystem merging meeting yesterday in Fort Lauderdale, and flew in the night before. Had dinner with my new friend Orly, who I met at the Sales Mastery 3-day weekend. So that was lovely. And I had two Hello TS meetings yesterday that are going to result in creating a lot of great jobs for people who are blind. So the formula works.
That is incredible. And for the record, Kirk Adams was already a 9.99 in the world of integrity-based human influence. And it brings me great joy to hear you use the vernacular, be in the formula, use the language, and more importantly, be disrupting the unemployment rate for the blind. Thank you, Kirk, for everything that you do inside this movement, outside this movement, and for the world as a whole. Craig, you had some things you'd like to share as well?
Quickly, I just wanted to share my gratitude for yesterday, for the time that Sean took yesterday talking with me, the messages that I got from people, for the encouragement, and the knowledge that I woke up this morning even feeling like this morning I was too tired, I didn't sleep well, I couldn't move forward with my day, and the quickest shift in my mindset and in my attitude has brought me to immediately, I'm talking about within the last 25 minutes, from not knowing where I'm going to go today to I can't wait for this day to happen to move forward in it. So that's why I wanted to let everyone know that it really is just in that moment, that decision and that self-mastery of going forward.
Hey, Craig, this is Sean. Hey, everybody. It is Why Wednesday.
What's up, Sean?
And I want to pick up as a perfect segue for where Craig's at. Because, like, here's the reality. The reality is that life is about a lot of things. And we talked about it the weekend, we talked about in the huddle, that your why and your legacy are driving key forces. They are the driving forces and the emotional fuel. But the key distinction to realize is that as we're growing, wherever we're going next, we're still going to bring like those fears of rejection, fears of failure, fears, meaning fear of failure is like, is this going to work? Is it going to come together? Like what challenges, what dynamics, what are we facing? Like all of those things are never endingly going to come up. So part of it is when, and I'm sorry guys, I'm trying to find a quiet place. I'm down here, as some of you know, in West Palm. So there's a little bit of noise, but they're never endingly going to come up. And it's the same thing, Craig, for you, same thing for Fernando, for Darcy, for Kelly, for every single person on this call, like, and it's not going to stop. So the key is when it happens, what do we do with it? So, you know, we're always on the complete transparency. You know, there's very dynamic things happening, and post Unblinded, not unexpectedly, a lot is happening. You know, there's a lot to deal with, you know, on a self-mastery level of, wait, what about this? What about that? And no, I thought this and I thought that. And like, right, there's just things that occur as you're building and growing. They just occur, right, on all different levels, family levels, business levels, friendship levels. And so for me, there's times that the thought, Craig, and everybody crosses my mind, like, do I really want to do all this? Like, I could just like sit on the beach and go surfing and like, you know, have fun and speak occasionally and come to Caligula and do what I've done for a long time and feel really good and, you know, play in a much smaller game, right? Have a much smaller ecosystem, serve the world in a real, but underneath perhaps my capability level. And it would be a lot easier and perhaps even a lot more fun for me in the short run. For sure, it would be more fun, right? And in the long run, it wouldn't be nearly as fulfilling, it would be nearly as powerful, it wouldn't serve my why, right, in terms of using all the talents that I believe I've given, but it would just be a lot easier, right? And so, but I realize that that's just a thought. It's a feeling, right? And that I, like you, Craig, like everybody here, is completely responsible and in charge of what we're thinking and feeling. That we have the capability, the capacity to guide those things, even if it feels completely and totally real. So just, Craig, as you're sitting here, realize like it's normal. Not only you're not alone, it's like for everyone, right? And especially, particularly when we're going through the next breakthrough level, right? And it's like, oh my goodness, is this all worth it? Is this gonna be a waste of time? Should I go left? Should I go right? Like I experience the same thing. But the formula teaches us that progress is our process mastery predominant outcome, right? Ecosystem merging, frictionlessness, and sometimes we're going to put in, invest time, money, energy into something that seems like the right approach. At the end of the day, it's not becoming the things that we want it to become. And we're going to be like, oh my God, there's like frustration and upset and all those things. The same fears you're saying, Craig, like, is it going to work for you? The answer is yes, right? The answer is unequivocally yes. But for each of us, the question becomes continuously how we're applying the formula, how we're dealing with these different emotions and dynamics, and how we move ourselves forward. Is that communicating, Craig?
It communicates very well, and I want you to know that that's why I never opened my mouth in the past, and that's why I almost missed the entire boat to this whole movement, was because I was saying to myself that I am alone. This is who I am. Nobody else has this problem. And then I wouldn't have opened my mouth in the first place, wouldn't have shown up, and then I definitely wouldn't have opened my mouth yesterday on the phone. So
yeah,
that's what it comes down to.
Listen, I mean, just being real, like the whole, like we're going to have other people say things. This is exactly, like we're seeing the living out of the concepts. So like the shushing thing for some was funny, For some, it meant a lot. And ironically, I've been in 3 events since, and people say, shh, right? And there's no defensiveness. What it would speak to is perhaps a rapport break more than the actual shushing itself, which is a beautiful lesson and a beautiful conversation to have. But at the end of the day, like in the most outer periphery of it, there's people that will use that in an aggressive and negative way. And it's like, oh my God, like, you know, it hurts. It's like frustrating. It's like, are you kidding? Like this is, you know, with all the beautiful things that have happened, like that would be, I'm using this as an example. It's not a big deal, but just an example. Like that would be your reality of what occurred. And the answer is for some people, yes, because it's their choice of focus. And Craig, I, you, everyone, we can't control all the micro distinctions. Now we could look at it and go, hey, how do we have a better outcome? So there's more rapport and the dynamics work in that space, like better than, let's say, resulting in people feeling, you know, shushed at certain points, right? So like that's a great question, but it's different than focusing on like either defensively saying, no, like that didn't happen, or conversely saying, oh my God, like, you know, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy. There's like these, like, you know, somebody out there that like is saying something negative about it. Like that's gonna happen. That's gonna happen whether you make $25,000 a year and your brother's like, oh, like what stupid shoes you're wearing, or what's gonna happen if you're making, you know, you're Oprah and you're on television impacting the world massively, and you have a substantial amount of people who still call you fake and a jerk and, or like, you know, whatever they're going to call you. So it doesn't feel good when it's you. You know, I had a situation last night. It was a beautiful moment. I had Gerald Rogers ran his event, did a really awesome job, man. He did a hypnosis show. It was super impressive. And right before that, I got a phone call. It was like, hey, did you say this? Like, no, I didn't say that. And it was a person that mattered to me in the world. And right before I'm getting ready to go up on this conversation, I'm like, no, that's not what I said. And it wasn't what I said. And one of the greatest things that's a challenge for me, a growth opportunity, is misportrayal. Say you don't like, you know, the formula because you don't think it works in some way, and I'll argue with you and disagree with you, right? If it's debatable, right? I don't think it is debatable, but that's probably a poor example. Say you don't like my shoes. No problem. You don't like my shoes, right? Say I'm wearing my shoes, right? Think about this for yourself. Say I'm wearing my shoes because I think it makes me look like a Russian mafia person. Make that up. I don't even know what that means. Like, I'm like, no, that's not where I'm wearing my shoes, and I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. And when it comes into misportrayal, for many of us, like it hits right into fear of rejection, fear of failure space. So this happens to me like right before I'm going to speak last night. And in that moment, this is like what we do here, full transparency. In that moment, I was like, I don't even want to do this. Like, F this. Like, what am I even doing? Like, I'm here, I'm tired. It's been an insane couple of weeks. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, let me go, like, just be in a cave and just enjoy my life. This is ridiculous. Is this what this is going to be? Is this what I'm stepping into? And so in that moment, all of those feelings are completely real, Craig. You connecting with like the reality of how you might feel similar feelings in certain ways at times?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but on the other side, the end is we have our why. So condition reflexively, I'm like, wait a minute, like I have a why. And oh yeah, my why is to use the talents God has given me. So it's not even about me. It's not about whatever. It's not even about what I would feel like doing moment to moment, or month to month, or even year to year. Like I've made a commitment to myself to, you know, what I believe to be my creator and all the people around me. And like, yeah, so stop whining. This is what's going to happen at times, right? Confront it effectively in a healthy way, deal with it, be patient. Don't lose patience, you know, with people. People are scared and they're going through their own stuff. Get up here and deliver for these people, support the event, support these people, most importantly, that are in that room. And there's a number of other outcomes for it. So just like get out of yourself and go do what you got to do. So Craig, for you, for all of us, our why, and this is a perfect Why Wednesday conversation, is about that emotional fuel it provides in the larger spectrum, not the moment to moment. Oh, I get it, Craig. You don't know what you're talking about. Who are you? You know, you're not enough. What have you done? Like, how could you be talking about this? Like, people are going to say that. People say that to like Oprah. People say that to like Bruce Springsteen. Oh, Bruce Springsteen, like he's a fake and a fraud and he's wealthy and he thinks of poor people. Like people are going to say negative things because that's just how some people operate. It's what it is. And the sooner, and I'm not saying like it doesn't affect me too in the moment. The question is how quickly can we get back in touch with our why, our self-mastery formula, and keep ourselves moving forward. It's not going to feel good. I'm not claiming it's ever going to get to a place where it feels like, oh, like, yeah, that's wonderful. Maybe it can. Like maybe that's a great limiting belief I can eliminate. It's never going to be not like that. Maybe it could be just like fun and we could always say life is working for us or God is making all things work together for good. Maybe even more empowering belief that we can truly condition in. So I'm going to play with that for myself. I'm going to have that as an outcome to see if I can actually reflexively get myself into the spaces that would bother me the most into just like reacting that way within 10 seconds, 5 seconds, even instantly. So I've certainly shrunken the time for me. But yeah, let's like play that game, all of us together. How can we effectively condition our why so deeply in the belief structure that everything is working together for good, that we can eliminate and minimize our disappointment, our pain points to the lowest extent possible. But on the other side, that pain often supports us and drives us forward. So maybe we do get served by having some of that pain. So I don't know, any thoughts, questions on any of that?
Hey, Sean. Jay.
Yeah.
Again.
Hey, Jay.
Hey, man. Good morning. No, just real quick, I just want to say thank you for sharing some of those things about yourself, because I think when you share, you personally, when you share things that aren't perfect and aren't exactly how the formula is supposed to work, I think it makes it very relatable for us out here listening to you, just because we realize that, you know, everything's not perfect. I'm like a 9.999 when it comes to passion and sales and getting out there. And when there's days I don't feel like doing it, you know, it goes from a 9.9 to like a 0 because I'm so up that if I came out there down, it'd be very obvious. So, you know, it's something I'm learning to go back to my why and my purpose and what my legacy is. And that's the reason, that's how I get myself back out of it. Now, normally I can get myself out of it really quickly, but it's nice to hear from someone like yourself who goes on the stage and looks like a superhero out there that it's not always perfect and there's ways to get out of it. So thank you.
Yeah. Hey, brother, you and everybody in this phone call, I'm going to have two quick distinctions. Thank you. Brilliant. Two distinctions. One, the formula says it's never perfect, right? The formula says, what do we do when we're not getting the outcomes we want, which is going to happen. So like, right, for all of us know that formula says we are going to nonstop get feedback that's not the feedback we're optimally looking for in the moment. That's just what it is, right? So it's amazing. Like I just want that locking in for everybody. It's not about perfect. It's about progress, acceleration, exponential growth, all of those things. One. Two, you are a superhero, brother, and everybody here is. And if you study superhero-ness or any hero-ness, right, the hero's journey is always multiple challenges. Like when it looks like everything is there and we have everything ready to go and like we finally gotten to that success point, whatever it is, you know, conquering the evildoer, like doing something, like all of a sudden, like the Joker reemerges for Batman. And the Joker wasn't subdued. He escapes from Arkham Asylum, or somebody, you know, stabs Batman in the back, right? Like, so the hero's journey is about realizing the absolute absence of perfection, the absolute absence of ever truly getting to that spot where everything is just like working perfectly, like it's Disney World. And even inside of Disney, all the rides are about the hero's journey, whether it's Snow White or Peter Pan or any character, the Little Mermaid. All of them went through the phases of the hero's journey. And then even when, look at Star Wars, when you think you've won, right? Like there's an emergence of something new. And that's the journey, the life part. So people say, like, enjoy the journey. Like that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the reality that life is about connection, love, growth, contribution, and these cyclical processes of like taking a break, like landing at a new base camp, enjoying, and then moving forward and moving through states of conscious imbalance. But for today, the limited key point is our why is what takes us forward. Our why is what takes us forward. So any final thoughts, comments, or questions before I kick it over to Jared for any wrap up?
Sure. Yeah, Sean, this is Adam. I had an example of a story, what we're talking about yesterday on a connected call that we had, a scheduled call. The first thing that the female, her name is Angela. Well, the first thing she said to me was, "Oh, wow, is this Adam?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Wow, do I have a bone to pick with you?" And And I said, oh, please share. I would love for you to share. She said, I met you at Date with Destiny. And in one of our breakout sessions where Big Marv, you were talking to Big Marv, and I was telling my story to you, you didn't really do a great job of level 5 listening. And I remember thinking, wow, what a jerk. And I said, oh, wow. I said, and I said, oh my God, it hurt me for a second. It did, but I was so grateful that I had the opportunity to have the conversation. And I said, well, I remember you were going into the city and you were in fashion and you were doing all these things. And she said, oh my God, you remember all that? And I said, yeah, I mean, I remember our conversation. She said, well, you know what? There was something that I was talking about that meant a lot to me. And you didn't respond, or you didn't, acknowledge the way she felt that I should have. And it was that realization at that moment that we talk about. Yes, I was out of level 5 listening, I'm sure. That was the perception that she had at that moment. And back to this whole thing, it's like, that's my why, is like to be able to see where I went wrong, to be able to then have she also did say when she saw me on stage, and when she first saw me on stage, she's like, who's this jerk speaking at Sean Callagy's event? And then after I spoke for a little while, she said that she reconnected and I rebuilt rapport, and she was very, happy, that she got on the phone with me. So the point is that, to what you said, it's just, yes, having that opportunity for me, though, to regain that moment and to really to confront being out of the formula at that time, and to see what that could do to somebody and how that could carry on and really impact them. So,
ouch.
Yeah, go ahead, please. Who's jumping in?
Sorry. This is Erica from New York. That's very funny because I didn't realize I wasn't on mute, and I was saying ouch because my cat stepped on me. But I did want to say something, which is so perfect, that I originally the other day did not realize I wasn't hiding myself, right? Like, and I know that you can't see yourself right now, but you might be able to see me. And I'm like sitting in like workout clothes, just got out of the shower, clean clothes. And there are moments where when you share, it brings me to tears, or I like get like really shooken up, because I can so connect to this experience of like hero and all the imperfections, because I believe you were at Date with Destiny, and I was one of the people who shared twice and spoke with Scott. And I'm writing a book about how to go from trauma to triumph, and just being able to connect to each of you on such an authentic level and not have to worry about, does my hair look okay? Like, I'm not actually going to hide myself anymore. I'm, like even on these calls, even if my hair and makeup and skin and my home might not look perfect, because if people recognize that a realtor is, I'm here to serve, and I might not look like have perfect hair and makeup every minute of the day, but if you're going through a divorce, or you're lost your job, or someone died, or something like that, I can listen and learn how to listen at level 5 and learn how to serve from this group and from the distinctions that you're showing us. And it's such a gift. And I just want to say thank you for that, because you're not just changing my life, you're changing like people around the world, because as I shift and learn and grow from each of you and your shares, then this movement is going to help all the people that are buying and selling real estate and all the realtors I get to connect with. And I'm just so blessed to be here.
Oh, Erica, thank you. And I'm hearing your commitment, your breakthroughs, your finding your absolute peace and sense of certainty and your absolute worthiness, right? Like, not just when you're, dressed to be professional, right? Whatever that means. But it's amazing. And thank you, because I needed that too. And for each of us, we go through all this. And so final for me before I jump and kick it over to Jared. I listened at level 1 last night. I'll confess, always. So I was excited. Courtney decided she can go to New Hampshire. She loves animals. There's like incredible animal programs there. So some gentleman, and I knew I was doing it in the moment, like it was quick right before, things were happening in the event last night. And he's like, oh, I'm like, where are you from? I was in the formula, certainly always listening, connecting. He's like, oh, I'm from New Hampshire. I'm like, amazing. And I paused. I'm like, I'm not going to listen at level 1. I'm like, well, yeah, I am. Like, I'm going to give myself permission. I'm like, New Hampshire, amazing. I'm like, he's like, what's your connection with New Hampshire? And I'm like, because I drew the question, so I knew I was drawing it back to me with my reaction. And I'm like, oh, my daughter's going to go to New Hampshire, da, da, da. And he's like, oh, my daughter went there too. Like, right. So we're now listening back and forth in level one, and it's like, okay, right? Like, it's okay. It's not a sin. It's not like a moral imperative, right? And sometimes it's okay to get excited in a nanosecond, right? And just want to share something from our heart. So this is not about perfection. We're never going to be perfect, and nothing's ever going to be perfect, but man, it can be magical and incredible. So for that, I'm going to ask Jared to take us home. I'm going to jump because I have to, be in integrity here with a couple different things. So I'm super grateful. Thank you for this beautiful Why Wednesday, for those shares, and let's always be open and vulnerable, sharing with each other as we go through this incredible journey of a magical life. Thank you, Jared. What do we got, brother? Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Sean. Great call today, everybody. When you were talking earlier, Sean, about like every now and then, or waking up and being like, is it worth it? Like, is this really what I should be doing right now? I remember years ago, I met Donnie Deutsch. Donnie Deutsch used to own Deutsch Advertising. And I think at the time they could just like sold it. And he was valued at like probably $250 million or more. And I was talking with him, and he was telling me that every day, even to that point when he already sold the company, he would wake up with this like sinking feeling of doubt, like it's all going to fall apart. I mean, and his agency had like 2,000 employees. It was a massively successful ad agency in New York City. And every day he'd wake up with like these feelings of doubt. And it was, for me, it was very refreshing to hear it, because I had 2 companies at that time. And every day I woke up with that like feeling like, is it worth it? Do I want to keep going on? Do I have what it takes? And it even happens to me today. Like Mr. Zeus on stage, like wakes up with like these like moments where I question, like, do I have what it takes? Do I even want this? And I always then just like will do level 5 listening to myself. And I'm like, well, why am I feeling that way? Like, where is this derived from? And then I start to transition those feelings of doubt to feelings of like wild enthusiasm and excitement as quickly as I possibly can. So I just felt drawn to share that, because I feel like there's somebody on here, and maybe many of you, that wake up with that feeling of doubt, question, worry, and realize like even like the big man on campus, Sean, or Donnie Deutsch, or me, or anyone, like has the same exact feeling. The question is, how long do you live with that feeling? And you can deploy level 5 listening to yourself and really get into like the source of it. And from there, you can use it as a catalyst to get even more enthusiastic, more excited, like Zeus yourself out of it, like give yourself a lightning bolt to just shift your focus. That's where self-mastery really comes into play. So I felt drawn to share that. I also feel drawn to give an announcement. I posted this in the Facebook group. Many of you saw. If you didn't see, I'd encourage you to go check it out. There is an anonymous person. I promised I'd keep her anonymous as much as I didn't want to. She wanted to be anonymous, who has paid for 5 people that are on financial government support. That's the only requirement, because we have a scholarship set up for people that are on government support financially to go through mastery. So she invested her own money to pay for people to go through the 6-month mastery program. And the reason why she believes and is doing this is because she wants to give them hope. She wants to give them access to mastery around the formula that has made such a big difference in her life already. And she was just exposed to it at the immersion. And she believes that this can help people, as do I, as does our entire team at Unblinded, can help people that are on financial government support actually get off financial government support, not through a minimum wage job, but through self-employment, because they're going to go through the program, they're going to become certified as Unblinded Sales Mastery certified coaches, and there's a really big financial model built into it. So I want to honor this anonymous person. If she decides that I can let her identity be revealed, I will, but I'm going to honor the fact that she doesn't want to. She's just doing this out of just love and caring and support. So there is a survey we have. If you are on government support financially, you can complete the survey. It's a couple of questions, and we will then go through, and the Unblinded team will select people to be awarded these scholarships. And if you want to do what this woman has done, whether publicly or anonymously, and either is perfectly fine, please call us and we will get everything in motion. The phone number at Unblinded HQ is 863-862-5463. We have a discounted rate regardless for people that are on financial support through the government. So if that's you and you want to pay for it for yourself because you're like, I want to prove that I can do it, You can also call us at 863-862-5463. And if you want to sponsor people, please call us. We'll get you set up. But let's just honor this anonymous, beautiful soul who said, I want to step up. I want to give 5 people hope. And to me, that's just a testament of who she is, her character, and this movement as a whole. How badly we don't just want to support ourselves. We want to support others as well. That is what it looks like. So we appreciate all of you immensely. Stay on fire. Stay fanatically focused with what you are looking to achieve. If you're on the fence with mastery, I just challenge you to get off the fence, because nothing ever changed with people sitting on the fence. The only time things change is when you get off the fence, you face whatever fear is standing before you, and then you realize you can do it. If talking on the phone with somebody will support you with getting off the fence so that you can say yes, just call us, 863-862-5463. And for those of you that are in mastery, we're going to send out an email today, just as a reminder. There is a financial model associated with it. So there's a very good chance that there's people in your life that should be in mastery with you. And when you get them to join, you might completely offset your investment or even start making money on mastery. We'll send you an email today with the details for that. And we are here to match your energy and support you with anyone in your life that you feel should be part of mastery with you. We will then take them through the formula so they can begin to see what they don't see about the fun, excitement, and magic of exponentially growing their sales. Appreciate you always. Dominate the day, and we'll speak to you tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye.